Good morning. Mike. Guess what day it is? Hump day. Hi, guys. How's everybody doing this morning? Whew. Go, let's see who's here. I see Cement Shoes. Good morning. Kez Chick, Amelia Sparkles, Bethy Cakes. Hi. You like that intro, Amelia? I was actually looking at it and thinking, I kind of want to tweak it just a little bit. The timing on some places is a little off, and now I know better. So I just want to just adjust it just a little bit. Work on just the little timing things, when you learn things and you see your old mistakes. So if you guys like the intro and want me to keep the intro, oh, I keep forgetting Check. Technically it is morning, so there we go. I will keep it, but I just want to just make a little adjustments just here and there. I see some room for improvement, as it were. All right, so let me tell you what happened yesterday and why I didn't go live last night. Essentially, after yesterday morning's testimony, it was after lunch and whatnot, after the break and all that, there was basically a hearing held because the prosecution wants to play these audio tapes, right? These, well, I guess not really tapes, but you know what I'm saying. This audio, because they're part of the 2018. Oh, thank you, Bethy Cakes. I appreciate that. All of you guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate that. They take a long time, and when I see the little tiny timing errors, for me, I see it. You guys probably see it too. I don't know how you don't, but if you don't, I appreciate that you don't, because I sure as hell do. But anyway, so basically after yesterday morning, the prosecution wants to play this audio that is related to the 2018 intercept wiretaps. Okay. But remember, some of those wiretaps are in the vehicles of the Wagners. And so much like when you are like on the phone in your car, and you know how sometimes the person on the other line, or if you're even like on the phone and somebody else is in the car, how like you can hear the road, you can hear the wheels on the road, you can hear the other vehicles, and there's like wind, obviously, if you have your window down, just stuff like that. So the audio isn't 100% the greatest, which I think is interesting that we as regular everyday citizens have. Hi, Mrs. O, good to see you, babe. We as like regular citizens, right, have access to this, to stuff that enhances audio. And what I don't understand is why they don't clean the audio up, other than what I would imagine would be criticism that it's not the original audio, it's been enhanced, it's been cleaned up, therefore it's been changed. So I suppose that makes sense. But so what the kerfuffle is what audio is pertinent, right? But more than that, is the transcription. There's a transcription of the audio, and both sides, I think, agree that what they want the jury to consider as evidence is the audio itself. And the judge, all three of the judge, the prosecution, and the defense are concerned that if they give the jury the audio and the transcription at the same time, it will elevate the transcription from being an aid to then becoming evidence. And I was listening in while they were having this, and I watched it yesterday afternoon as well. And I will say this. You know what it made me think of? It made me think of the Pamela Smart trial, because in that trial, oh, bless it, I can picture her face, and she wore the wire when she went and talked to Pam. Bless it, her name is like right on this, Cecilia Pierce, when she wore the wire, right? And it's there's a lot of inaudible parts in that audio. And the argument, and one of Pam's appeals, was that the jury was sent obviously they got, and those were literal tapes, right? But they also got the transcription. And when her defense team listened to the audio and compared it with the transcription of the audio, there were parts that were wrong. And she basically thought that her argument, well, her team's argument, her appeal argument was, hey, listen, we don't know how much weight the jury put on the actual audio versus the transcription, right? Because the transcription wasn't intended to be evidence, it was intended to be a guide. But if they use the transcription even as a guide, and the transcription is incorrect, that could make a difference, right? And whether they found her innocent, well, innocent's not guilty or guilty, whether they acquitted her or not, right? So I don't think that appeal. I think that appeal had merit, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it changes anything for me as far as the role Pamela Smart played in the unaliving of her husband. She was definitely part of the conspiracy. I do, however, take issue with the fact that the young men at the time who pulled the trigger are all free now, and she's never going to get out of prison. And I think that that's, in my opinion, it's problematic, to be honest with you. I don't think that I've and it's just weird. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if I consider that justice. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if Greg Smart's family considers that justice. I covered that case in my, Whatever Happened To series. So yeah, and the jury isn't expected in for like another 20 minutes. So I didn't go live last night because there wasn't really much to report on this case. And the other thing is, I have also been keeping an eye on the Florida versus Matthew Terry case. And I have to tell you guys, that one sort of gets me. And it's sad. I mean, all of these cases are sad and tragic, but this one, there's something like extra sad about it. I was listening to the officer's testimony yesterday, and just as she's describing the scene, and it was just awful, and I don't know. Anyway, and I'm trying to figure out how I can best cover both of these trials and do it fairly, right? So that I'm not leaving it out in important parts. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to like work all of the logistics out, because it's difficult because I mean, I have to watch both. So I'm trying to figure out how to best do all of that. And then tonight, if you guys are West Memphis 3 case aficionados, Amber Alerts and I are going to have a little panel, she and I, and talk about it. And we're going to talk about the recent interview that Terry Hobbs gave. And when I say recent, I'm talking about like within the last 2 weeks. The Florida versus Matthew Terry Amelia Sparkles. I've been, because remember when um we were like, well, what are, there was no audio in the beginning the other day of um the Wagner trial, and we went over to and then there was that jury kerfuffle, and they end up just going through, and it's the judge we like from tr- uh oh boy, Trevor. Yes, Keschik here. Yes. What is his name? Why can't I remember his name? I've totally blocked his shenanigans, like, completely out of my mind, but you know which trial I'm talking about. Um, anyway, that's the other trial that I've been watching, and, there's, like, a ton of trials that are coming up, so, I wanna cover all of them, and this trial just wants to take forever. Yes, Summers. Why can't I remember his name, Amelia? What is wrong with me? I should write it on my little board I have. Yes, I have a whiteboard. It's supposed to keep me organized, but as you can see, you know, it's not a miracle. So yeah, we're just kind of kicking it until yes, Amelia. Amelia, you have earned a good noodle sticker. Right? Amelia, and I have to tell you, so I was watching the trial, right? And he's so nice to everybody. Like, just the things that he says, that, the greeting in the morning, and, or after the lunch recess. And then remember, okay, so today, ooh, also, I know why I was excited about Wednesday, other than I love talking about the Son of the Story. You guys know it. Guess what premieres, or guess what was just released today on the Netflix's season 5 of The Crown. And I'm particularly excited for this season because of who is playing Queen Elizabeth. It's going to be, if you guys are Harry Potter fans, um, oh God, she worked for Dolores Umbridge, is who the actress that plays Dolores Umbridge is, who's going to play Elizabeth. And I actually think, frankly, she is perfect for the role. Perfect. It resembles her, and I think she'll do an excellent job because you know, I just think she'll do an excellent job. So anyway, that's coming out today. And then, okay, so today is the 9th. Let me look at my calendar, because we also have, oh, not calculator, Jen, learn to spell. I mean, it's, the words are right there for you. All you have to do is click the icon. Okay. So next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 15th and the 16th, are the victim impact statements in the Brooks trial. Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. O. I really appreciate that. Um I really try to cover it. It's difficult. I listen, I have, let's be fair, right? I can't really be unbiased. Okay. I obviously have an opinion about the case, right? And I've obviously formed that opinion and over time. Okay. So it's difficult I can't say I'm not biased. But what I have tried to do is to present things that are part of the case file, but were not covered in any of the documentaries, because there's 4 of them, right? And yes, thank you. That's the actress's name. Um, thank you, Mrs. O. Yeah. So I try to, I there's no way to not be biased. I mean, there's just no way it's not a new case for me, obviously. I mean, I'm 20 years deep, so whatever, but I try to present things that are um, important, but not part of the documentary. And I don't want anybody I want everybody who watches my coverage, not only to watch my coverage, obviously, hello, that's why I make it, but then if there are things that they want to learn on their own, to then go over to Callahan's website and look at the documents for themselves and make their own determination. I don't want to convince anybody of innocence or guilt, because I think that's up to the viewer, and that's what I try to do. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the coverage. So Amelia, for a while, um, it was difficult for me as well. Like, okay, so there's the before I came to YouTube Gen, and there's the after I came to YouTube Gen. And the before I came to YouTube Gen could sit and watch and devour an entire series in a day. Like the first, like an entire season of a series in a day, right? Depending on how many, um, obviously, episodes there were. But the after YouTube Gen has struggles with it, because I feel like, why am I watching this? I'm supposed to be, there's 87 things that I promised that I would do on my channel, and I'm not doing it. And it's hard for me to um focus now. You know what else has being so invested in true crime? See, it used to, I was invested in true crime before in a way where um I would watch like the ID network or channel, and I would watch Oxygen, and I would watch when we used to have true crime on there and all that stuff. And then but that's and there were some cases, obviously, the West Side Mystery. There's been a few other ones that I would look into more than just watching it on one of those channels. But since I actually started, like, not just watching cases, but then covering the cases, you know what it's ruined for me? Horror films. Because I look at it and I'm watching it and I'm saying, "Oh, wait, that blood spatter is all the way wrong," because I've seen crime scene photos. And I have to be like, "Jen, it's a movie, please." And this was your love. That's my two greatest passions, true crime and horror films. And it's weird that true crime has ruined horror films for me, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to set myself right. It's like I need a hard reset or something. It's annoying. Hey, Tony, good to see you. So yeah, I that's yeah, there's some stuff Jen Lu has definitely got to work on. Oh, and then moving forward through the week. Okay. So obviously you guys know about Hurricane Nicole. Okay. And she is doing a weird thing, and she's gonna she's gonna actually make landfall a little further south than they thought initially, right? But she's gonna come across um, the whole state, right? But she's going to head in a northwest direction, which does take her over the top of me. Hey, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So, that being said, I don't know, because my part of Florida is not under a hurricane watch. We are under a tropical storm advisory. And here's the deal about tropical storms. Basically, a tropical storm is just a lot of wind and rain. Okay. But how much rain, how slow it moves, blah, 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 blah. There's all these details. So to be fair, here's the deal. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not going to like worry about it. I've done what you're supposed to do for these things, and that's that. So I'm just going to keep going live. It's supposed to impact my part of the Floridas, like tonight into Thursday morning. They've already canceled school or whatever. So it is what it is. And, you know, if I don't have electricity, I don't have electricity and I won't be able to stream. But if I don't have electricity and I can't stream, I will post to my community tab to let you guys know so you're not like wondering. Because I know I've been bad about that and I should be using my community tab more than I use it. I wanted it, so I wanted one, right? Because that's like the mile marker. And then I got it and I was like, oh, okay, I got it now. I don't know what to do. So there you go. Also, I have a little exciting news. Your girl has, oh, like the Bravo TV show Below Deck, that one, Kez Chick. I have your girl has reached 1,800 subs. I'm kind of proud of me, and it's all because of you guys, and I appreciate that so much. I know that the next big mile marker is the 2,000 mark, and like I'm excited for that too. But 1,800, that's a big deal. Like I'm proud of myself. And I want to thank you guys because I know it's you guys recommending and sharing out, and you know, I appreciate it. So thank you very much. No, I'm not gonna float away. I'll be fine. It's just gonna be wind and rain. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like more of an inconvenience than anything. Oh, yay! Hot girls here. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and hide remove. Let's remove. Let's remove. The bots must be super bored today. There you go. All done. I wonder how much the bots get paid to to do this. And I wonder cuz YouTube is full of AI. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things that they use to be for their platform. So how is it that these bots get past YouTube? That's what I want to know about, but I'm not going to, you know. Oh, is he? Check. Is he really? Oh my gosh, I will totally check it out. That's awesome. Chick. That's amazing. That is amazing. I will definitely watch. Now, see, I'm a fan of Captain Lee. You know why I'm a fan of Captain Lee? Because I did, um, oh, do you not get it? Can you not watch, Below Deck, Kez? You should be able to, I think, on Peacock, even if you have a VPN, just change it to the United States. So thank you. Thank you, Mrs. O. So yeah, I wanted to I'm a huge Captain Lee fan because he never took any guff and he just said it how it was. And I appreciate that in human beings. I think this is why I don't do well with people because people have the ability to um, mask who they really are and what they're really thinking. And when you come across a person who does not do that, right? Um, you can appreciate it. So I just liked it, even if it is set up. Oh, I saw that, Amelia. I'm gonna have to check that out. Speaking of Casey Anthony, just briefly, aside from the Peacock thing that she's doing, I know a lot of people are comparing Leilani to Megan Boswell. Um, and I don't know if that I don't know whether I haven't really quite figured out whether I agree or disagree with that but that's not my commentary. My commentary was actually going to be on Billy Joe and how she gives me Cindy Anthony vibes in that, and this isn't a negative thing, so It's just what I sense in her. Because I remember watching Cindy, and remember Cindy is the one that alerted 911. It smells like there's been a dead body in the car. Remember? Okay. So, but then once the ball got rolling and um, they ended up arresting Casey Anthony, right? And you see her, there's, they recorded their visits, right? Because that's part of the deal being in jail. You don't have any privacy, right? I could see in her the same conflict, um, because it's her granddaughter, right? And her daughter, and I can see the same conflict in Billy Joe. And I just find that interesting. And I was going to also talk about the Quentin Simon case, but quite honestly, there really isn't anything new as far as the case goes. Obviously, there's always drama and stuff surrounding it, but I feel like, oh, okay. I feel like, I don't know, excuse me if you heard me burp. It's coffee. Pardon me. I feel like I don't know if I want to cover the drama. Like there's already other channels covering the drama. Do we really need another channel to cover the drama? I don't think so. So I feel like once there is some update on it, Hulu, Hulu, Hulu. Um Once there's developments in the actual case itself, then I'll talk about it. But for the time being, it's really nothing to talk about. I mean, I suppose I could play the audio from the testimony of the BCI agent yesterday, who explained the difference between probable cause for arrest, right? And then prosecution, how it's how they're obviously different things, and you can have enough probable cause to arrest someone but not have enough evidence to secure a conviction, or feel you don't have enough evidence to secure a conviction. But I've talked about that like 11 billion times before, and do you really want me to talk about that again? Like, I don't know. And I don't want to be exploitative of the case, to be honest with you, especially because it's a child. And I feel like, you know, I don't want to. I just don't want to. I just want to be very careful. You guys know how I feel about open cases. All right, now let's get this show on the road. The jury is supposed to be here. It's 9:30. What's going on? Oh, so just so you guys know, also with because it's very blustery today outside, so I can't go outside. I had to bring my table in and everything. So annoying. Anyway, I can't take my laptop outside, which is a bummer because I like sitting outside in the morning with you guys, covering the trials, having some coffee and all that business, but I can't. Yes, support with stuff. Well, we're going to have testimony this morning. They're going to be playing the 2018 Intercept wiretaps this morning. We're waiting for the court to resume. They were in early, finishing up that hearing from yesterday afternoon. And now, see, you can trust me to remember all the names of the streaming service, Mrs. O. That I will not. I will know all of them. Um, names of people, not so much, but names of the streaming services, absolutely. Anyway, so yeah, they had a hearing about what was going to be played and how they were going to handle the parts that are inaudible, because they don't want the jury to use the transcription as more than a guide and make it like, if they can't understand, they'll just use the transcription, and that elevates it to evidence rather than a guide, and that's problematic, blah 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 blah. So now we're just waiting for court to resume. They were supposed to resume at 9:30. They're a little late. I can't really judge because I was a little late this morning. And so we're just waiting for that to happen, for a for a court to resume, for the jury to be brought up, and get this show on the road. So yes, yes, yes. And I believe that there is a little. Okay, Amelia. Fingers crossed for your family, okay, babe? I hope it goes well. I know it's a hard situation. I know it is. Um, Also, there was a little kerfuffle in the Florida versus Matthew Terry um, trial, which is the unaliving of the teacher. She was a teacher, and it was and his ex girlfriend. But the reason why there's a little kerfuffle, I believe, is due to an ex-girlfriend of his testifying, and let me see what's going on there. Bruh. Hold on. I'm just watching to see. All right, so right now the medical examiner is testifying. That's always such difficult testimony. I find it frankly fascinating, right? Because my mom was a histologist for over 30 years, and so she would have um, like she didn't attend autopsies, obviously, but pathologists typically are who perform um, forensic pathologists are typically who perform the autopsies, and because she worked at a county hospital, there they would get like the tissue samples right from the autopsies that were performed. And but just I used to ask the pathologists all kinds of questions and stuff about the body and what they can tell from an autopsy and stuff, and it fascinates me. It really does. Okay, looks like we got some activity in the court. And just like that, Wi-Fi is being some timing. Let me make sure that I have the audio up and it's not a Gen Lu problem, which it is not. I don't like it when you can see the name of all this business. I like it to be, it's too distracting. Words on the screen are too distracting. So everything is set to go. We just got to wait for um, Judge Steering to come in and start today. If you guys haven't already, could you do your girl a favor and give me a thumbs up? I would appreciate it. What else was I going to say? I had something else to tell you guys, but now I don't remember. Okay, listen, cameraman, you're giving me Blair Witch. Stop. Waiting, waiting, waiting. I don't know what else to talk about. I already ran out of things to say. Oh, I know what I could say. Have you guys been keeping up with the Adventures with Purpose situation? And I'm not talking about what I'm talking about really is more of the fallout from the indictments that were handed down. And one after another, the team has gone has done their own like pre-recorded videos and so statements, right, premiering them last night, and I I don't even know what to say. I can't even whistle. My mouth is dry. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with that, but it's not looking good. Not at all. And I watched oh gosh, don't get me. Who was it that I watched first? It's the one that starts with not what is his name? I can't think of it. He premiered his first yesterday. And now I can't think of his name. See how I go? Anyway, because my brain's too full up. I need to make space. Right? Support with Steffa. Josh, thank you. Support. Jen, get your shit together, ma'am. Yeah. So, I watched Josh's last night. Oh, I love Ikidmel. Is it Ikdamel or Ikidmel? Either way, I adore him, have adored him, been a big fan, been a sub to him for a long, long time. Just adore him. And I watched a little bit of Josh's last night, and I as he's talking about, because I came in obviously after the start, I didn't catch it from the very beginning, and I thought the part that I did catch was really about where do we go from here. There's stuff that has been signed. There's situations or whatnot. Essentially, I'm not quoting verbatim. And so what it sounds like to me is there is no actual, I guess, plan in place to pass the torch, as it were, for the other members of Adventures with Purpose to take over Adventures with Purpose. That if they're that if they he that if they wanted to continue to do the same type of work, that it would have to be like a completely different entity. And I'm also very curious about, because he didn't really reference when I was watching. So I don't, I can only speak to what I saw, but he didn't actually say anything respective to like having signed a no compete clause. Because that's, I mean, that I understand that what they do, what Adventures with Purpose does, is also a business for them, right? And so I recognize that there are certain things that are just good business practices, and a non-compete clause is a good business practice. So there's no, in my opinion, so there's no judgment there. Because you don't want somebody to leave your organization and give away trade secrets, and I get it. So I don't know if that was signed, and if that's like what the holdup is and why everything is so uncertain. But yeah, it's yeah. Come on, Law and Crime Network. Like, or not, it's not really Law and Crime, but come on, Judge. Like, we're waiting. Now you're 11. Now the whole thing is 11 minutes late. It's been, let me just be nice. I'll tell you what, though, if I end up not being able to stream, like after tonight for some reason, let's hope that doesn't happen. I'll just make good use of my time and work on the video that I need to be working on. There you go. Well, I mean, there's been so many delays, and you guys are always so patient to wait around, but I can only talk so much and fill the time. What else can I talk about? What else is going on? Let's see. Mm, I've already talked about, really, there's nothing really going on in the Quentin Simon investigation. We talked about Adventures with Purpose. Um, Talked a little bit about um, the Florida versus Matthew Terry case. Talked, with Brooks. I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Yeah, Amelia, like you do not want me to sing because come on. I could not carry a tune if it had a handle. Let me tell you what I can do is like I can pair it. So if a song is playing, I can make my voice sound like the singer. It depends on the singer, obviously, not every singer. But if you were like, oh, just sing, no, I can't. Yeah, like they are this is a very like complex, tricky situation. First of all, this this indictment has it will likely taint future projects from anybody um, on the team. And how do you, as a human being, right, process this revelation about somebody you considered to be like family to you, right? And also at the same time, everybody wanted the team to make some type of statement. Now, listen, I know people, there's other people that are waiting for Jared himself to speak. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Burping in your ear, like I don't even mean to. I'm so sorry. Anyway, everybody wants Jared to come out with some type of statement. And let me say this. He's not gonna. Okay. First of all, he has been indicted on charges. Okay. And he has lawyered up. And is it possible his lawyer might come out and make a statement? Possibly. And it would probably go something like this. You know, the proper place to handle this is in a court of law and we're prepared to whatever, right? It's going to be something like that. There's not going to be him. He's not going to say, anything other than that, you know? So, oh, he is doing so much. I mean, I would think that those emails are akin to a statement, but I'm talking about like a public statement as himself, not um, emails released. Oh, I'll watch it. Not released, on Reddit. Okay, like I think people are wanting for him to make some type of statement, and it's not going to happen. It's just I don't want to say I know for 100% certainty because obviously human beings have to, I can't know that. And besides that, if I had that kind of knowledge that I could know what he is doing, I would not use my knowledge that way. I would be using my knowledge for the Powerball numbers, frankly, and then B, I would be using that knowledge to work like unsolved crimes. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm realistic. Like you need money for that kind of thing.
Mr. Parker, Mr. Nash, the state represented by Mr. Junk, Mr. Kneffen, Mr. Wilson.
The audio is the audio, you guys. It's turned up all the way, I assure you. So let me mute and I'll be right back, but I'm going to be in chat, okay?
Did counsel discuss and resolve anything with respect to, I think it was 3164.
No, Your Honor. I would just like to put on the record kind of where we're at. Logistically, we've been able to make the changes to the first 20 phone calls that appear, or conversations that occur. Basically, just before call number 502, which if you'll recall, we now are going to play all of it. It's just logistically a lot to, not so much the audio, but to the transcript, merge that. Same with 17306, and then 3164 appears in the second half of our phone calls. So what I would propose is we do have the first 20 change the way the court has instructed. I suggest we start so that the jury's not waiting down there, and then maybe we do an hour and a half for lunch so that we have enough time to get those others the way the court has instructed us to, and then we can also talk about 3164, if that's
That
permissible.
worked out pretty fast. Do you think we can get through 20 before lunch? I'm not sure how long it takes.
I don't know, because, yeah, I've stopped keeping track of how long each one is. Some are very short, some are lengthier.
So with that, is counsel for each side ready to have the jury?
Your Honor, if I may, would the court be willing to reopen and hear a couple cases on audios 229 and 15811 in regards to the threats against Agent Scheider? We found some case law covering that.
What are you trying to do now?
The court would be willing to look at a few cases in regards to the threats against Agent Scheider. There's a 2018 State versus Gordon indicating evidence of threats or intimidation to witnesses reflect a consciousness of guilt are admissible as admission by conduct. That actually cites State versus Soak out of the 8th District, which itself cites State versus Leonard, which is a 4th District Court of Appeals case, and it goes to say evidence of threats or intimidation of witnesses reflect a consciousness of guilt or admissible as admission by conduct. We would argue that the statements made by this defendant on the wire, one of them in 229 discusses the defendant committing a violent act against Agent Scheider. That would be a violation, I believe, of 290702. Additionally, in number 15811, he's talking about that MFer doesn't want to start pushing me. He starts pushing me. He's going to have a very bad effing day. And we would consider that a threat, considering what the defendant was being investigated for at the time, and this being a threat directed specifically to the lead investigator on it. There's discussion of at least one point that Agent Scheider is listening in, and additionally, it's about head against the freaking pavement, and his brain is going to come pushing out his eye. That is at least felonious assault, if not attempted murder or murder. Under the circumstances, again, considering what this defendant is being investigated for, and Agent Scheider is well within his rights and the other investigators to consider this a direct threat and have to take precautions against it.
Which one are you reading there?
This would be 15811, Your Honor.
That one is in our second batch of calls, in the latter half of the day, I suspect. The 229 that he referenced is the one that you said we could play the part where he says, you're listening to, he says, Ryan, I know you're listening to me, and then he goes on to make threats.
That's the one with the racist comments in it?
I think so. I mean, he says.
I'm not going to reconsider that one, but I'll leave that out. Now, with respect to 15811,
I mean, he says,
Basically,
he says black in there one time, but he's basically threatening to rape him.
he's basically threatening to rape Agent Scheider. I'm going to bend the MFer over and him with his own junk, throw a sausage at him. Basically, that is 2907.
I think that's a rant. I understand what you're arguing, but I think that's a rant, and that's what I'm not going to reconsider that. I don't know about 15.811, does defense wish to argue about that?
Judge, it's very similar to being a rant. It's not a true threat, as we discussed yesterday. The U.S. Supreme Court case law, the client's not charged with any criminal offenses with respect to the speech. Once again, these are interceptions when he's out of state, driving his truck with his brother. So we don't even know where he is, or the state doesn't know where he is. It's somewhere probably out west. There's no immediacy to whatever he's saying. It's not a true threat. He hasn't been charged with any criminal offense related to his words or speech. We don't think it's appropriate for the court to change its decision at this point in time. We mentioned that in advance of our hearings.
Do you have something else, Mr. Jones?
In regards to these threats, actually, Agent Scheider would be willing to testify that they were aware that the defendant and his family were Googling Agent Scheider's residence. There were some precautions that had to be taken care of under the circumstances. If he's saying these things, and yet they're trying to find out where Agent Scheider lives, and one can only assume that they're planning on doing something to him, especially under the circumstances of what they're being investigated for.
Yeah, I would just say.
Basically, threatening to commit a
Look,
violation.
in context, I'm not, in context, it looks like on 158.11, the reaction is to some remark that was made. I have no idea what it was. It's not in the transcript. I don't know if it would appear in any part later or earlier what the remark was. It doesn't look like it's a reaction. It looks like the immediate context was a reaction to a remark made, not to the investigation itself. I don't want to open this up to error in that when we get into undue prejudice as a result of emotional reactions to comments or things like that. So I'm not going to reopen that. Let's get the jury in. Let's get these tapes played. They're coming in relatively late anyway. I mean, I can point out that we haven't had these, I think, exchanged until, now the whole thing were, but as far as identifying these and getting these exchanged, it's just been within the last 2 or 3 days. We just need to get it done so that we can get on with the case. So let's proceed with it. Both sides ready to have the jury, right?
Yes, thank you.
Is the state ready to have the jury, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me explain what is currently taking place. So there was argument between and by argument, I mean like legal arguing, right? Whether or not some of the audio that was captured in these intercepts, wiretaps, whether it should be allowed in or not, right? And so what Prosecutor Junct is saying is that he found case law where threats made by a defendant that were captured through wiretaps or other means of recording, right? Or even like on the internet, like if you typed it out or whatever, he found case law that supports these being admitted into evidence as proof of guilt. Because why would you threaten somebody? The argument is, why would you threaten somebody that if you weren't a part of their investigation? Meaning, if you aren't guilty, why do you make threats? Okay, that's the argument, essentially, in a nutshell. And so what they're trying to get in are these threats made. And what the judge is saying is, I don't know if they're threats or if they are rants. And I think with the judge, I think what Judge Deering is doing, which I appreciate about him. Sorry, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not screaming for your stereo. I tried to come in quiet because I figured you guys had to turn the audio way up. So I'm sorry if I rattled anybody's eardrums. I apologize. But so what was I going to say? Oh, so I think what Judge Deering is doing is, and I like I said, I appreciate this about him, is not only is he making rulings, right, and for this like during the trial, right, that impact the trial, but he's making rulings looking ahead in case there is a guilty
Today,
verdict and an appeal.
You'll be listening to some audio recordings. With respect to each of those.
And I find that
audio
I like
recordings
that.
you'll be listening to. You'll be
Judges do not
provided a
like
written
to have their
transcript
rulings
of the
overturned on
audio
appeal.
recording. Now, it should be noted that several of these audio recordings that you'll be listening to include only a part of, and not all of, the conversation that took place. Now, the written transcripts that each of you will be provided are being provided as listening aids only. They are being provided to assist you in understanding the audio recordings.
Yes, Mrs. O, it
that
is.
These recordings are being played.
But there are
The listening
very
aids,
specific
that is, the
rules
written transcripts are not evidence. They
in
are not
order
intended
to
replace or
obtain
overrule your understanding of what you hear on the audio
permission
recording.
from a judge
The audio recordings
to
themselves are the
wiretap.
evidence. The listening aids, that is the transcripts, are to be used only as listening aids and are not a substitution for the content of the audio recordings. You will not have the written
Now,
transcripts, that is, the
wiretapping
listening
by
aids,
private
with you during
citizens is not the
deliberations
same. It is
or your event.
that's a whole other can of
Now,
worms
state
and has
raising.
its own rules and legalities surrounding it. So, but
Thank you, Your Honor.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about like legal wiretaps done in the confines of an investigation. And the thing of it is, the reason that BCI was allowed to do wiretapping was because they had to go in front of a judge and they were required essentially to argue that this was like basically the last resort, that there were other investigative tools at their disposal, but he had to explain why they would not be effective in this specific case and investigation. And the reason he said they would not be effective in this case and investigation is because they were a family. They all resided together and they functioned as a single unit, was basically his argument. They didn't let outsiders in. So it would be very difficult for them to be able to speak to people outside of the family to get, for them to have made admissions of guilt to other people, because that's just not how this family rolled.
First of all, if there was anything different that you guys did in 2018 when compared with 2017 intersection ones?
Yes, there were a number of organizational steps, I guess is the okay term for it.
I'm going to mute.
Supervisors had determined that we should try to better organize the second time around. We also had a bigger number of devices that were to be used. So we needed additional personnel from outside of the core investigative team. We just simply didn't have the coverage for all of that. So we had solicited efforts from other agents, other analysts assigned to my unit. And so we had to give better training, more case update type information. So we had what was mandatory briefing for anyone that wanted to participate in monitoring these devices. They had to attend this training. It was basically a case summary kind of thing with details about the Wagners and about the victims' families, things like that, so that they could have a better understanding perhaps than maybe all of the monitors did in 2017. So we attempted to just ensure that everyone had a better understanding the second time around, as well as just getting to know people who would be working together, things like that. And then the final step, we created a subject matter expert position for someone who would be for every shift in the wire room, which was, I believe we had 3 shifts running when the truck was gone. And so you had a person there that was kind of like a case expert. I was one of them. My coworker, Dana, was another person. There were other agents who were part of that core team that knew, from day one to that present day, what had happened, the details, all of that. And so those people were there as a resource for other agents.
I'm going to switch it over to subscribers only mode, okay? Because I'm not dealing with this business.
Okay. And can you tell us, is one of those purposes in order to determine what calls are pertinent and which calls are not?
We were certainly there as a resource. It was up to the monitor to determine if that call was pertinent or non-pertinent. They were the person actually marking that in the system. But for reference, for us, helping to determine if a particular conversation was definitely pertinent to the investigation, as a whole, that was what we were there for as a resource. So they were ultimately, there to make the decision in the system, but certainly we were there as a resource to say, hey, they're talking about this or they're talking about that. Is this something that we should continue listening to? And we were there, to say that would be something good to listen to, or, just keep listening to better understand, things like that.
Okay. And was there also any legal training provided?
Yes. So as in 2017, and with every other interception warrant that is obtained, a person, whoever wants to monitor or be a part of the investigation with the wire, has to do minimization training. Again, it's just a briefing from an attorney and giving you kind of the...
I'm sorry. Basis is.
Legal training for whoever monitors is not relevant. They intercept certain things.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
This is a training required by every interception warrant to monitor or participate in the investigation. So that was the same thing from 2017 to 2018. It's the same thing for every other interception warrant I've ever worked in my career. So.
Okay. And you indicated that you had more devices that you were monitoring. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we obtained warrants for the phones, and I'll have a slide breaking down all of the devices and the names of them. But simply put, we had phone interception warrants that were placed by our tech ops agents inside the R&L carrier's truck that the Wagners were driving every week. So there were devices both placed in there, and then we had listening to the phone at the same time. If the truck was parked, we were not listening to the truck. We had advanced notice of when they would be their schedule with R&L, things like that. So when the truck was parked, we weren't listening to the truck.
Okay. And can you tell us how those devices in the truck worked as far as being able to monitor them? Were they just on and you just listened, or did it work differently than that?
Yeah, it worked differently than that. In my prior testimony about the device that was placed in the Wagner vehicle in 2017, it was like that type of device where you had to make a phone call to connect to the device and then begin recording that way. So it wasn't recording all the time. It required the monitor to call in, begin recording, and then listen and deem if they wanted to continue listening because it was pertinent, or to get a better understanding, or it could be minimized and not recorded. So it was the same type of idea as the device in 2017.
Okay. And again, you previously talked about the term minimized, and you just kind of said it there, but when it's minimized, is it recorded or not?
No.
Okay, so you can never go back and capture or listen to a part of the conversation that was, quote, minimized.
Correct.
Okay. And when you had this big training and case details were provided, do you recall who was providing that information?
I believe Agent Scheiderer was leading it, or I don't remember who the lead was, but there was input from a variety of people on the core investigative team. Myself and Dana, the other analyst that were assigned to the case, helped prepare the presentation. It gave a timeline of sorts, and there was input from different members of the investigative team, certainly.
Okay. And do you have a rough idea of how many calls were recorded?
I don't. It was more than we recorded in 2017, that was for sure, but there were more devices in 2018. But there was certainly more that was recorded and more that was deemed pertinent to the investigation in 2018 than there was in 2017.
Okay. And as part of being that subject matter expert, again, that required you to be intimate with the case details, correct?
Yes, those were people that were chosen by supervisors at BCI or the attorneys that were involved in the case. People designated as such. It couldn't just be like, I volunteered to do this. It was someone that was chosen, that had been there from the beginning. And I don't know exactly how many there were, but 5 or 6, I think, people that were there all the time. Myself and the other analyst, Dana, were the primary subject matter experts that were there in the wire room.
Okay. And as a result of your participation in that monitoring of the interception warrant, I guess we should start with, let's talk about when it was first instituted or implemented and the duration of it. If we could go ahead and have the PowerPoint, please.
I don't see anything on mine.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to, this will be marked as State's Exhibit quadruple I-1. And first of all, can you tell us what we're looking at?
Yes. This was from a spreadsheet.
Hey, Broken Justice, welcome. Good to see ya.
This basically outlays the devices that the interception warrants were obtained for, the dates of the original orders, and then if an extension was granted by the court for an additional 30 days, that date is on there as well. The trucks were granted 2 extensions, and then the phones were just slightly off with the dates with that. So on the far left side, you'll see the vanity name. The truck devices were named TS and then a letter. So A, B, C, and D. And then E, eventually one was replaced due to audio issues. And so that one has a later date because that was a replacement device. But there were 4 devices in the truck. On the transcripts, there is the name TSA or TSB, C, et cetera, will be listed on there, as well as the placement of the devices. So I believe the A1 was in the front passenger. There was one in the sleeper compartment of the truck. And so those would be designated on the transcript about the location of those in the truck itself. And then going down to the bottom portion, the phones, they were TT2 through 9, and those were designated here with the phone numbers.
Oh, yeah, Mrs. O, I'll be fine. I'm just curious why, because we weren't supposed to have that.
What
So
was the
something
starting
in the
date
forecast or the
of
track must
truck
have
and
changed.
the initial phones?
Really, I'm
The
just
dates of
curious
the
and
first
nosy
orders were signed May 24th, 2018.
why that changed.
I don't recall specifically when information started coming in the system, but that was the date that the order was signed. And then the
I'm
first
sure
three
it'll-
phones,
it'll be
George
fine.
Wagner's phone, Jake Wagner's phone, and Angela Wagner's phone were additionally signed on May 24th, 2018.
That's that, and Phil, I think.
And then it appears Billy's was on June 4th.
Yes, June 4th, 2018. And then the final three phones were second numbers that were later obtained through the T3 or the intercept for George, Jake, and Angela. So those were replacement phone numbers for the previously intercepted phones.
Okay, so they had stopped using the first three phones there and have replaced them with these
Yes,
phones.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry
And
about that,
no
you
rights
guys.
did
My
not
son
go
came
out
in.
on
He had a
Billy's phone at the same
question.
time as the other three.
I don't recall the specific reason off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't remember at this present moment.
And it appears that you were, the last, basically, it appears that you went through the end of August as far as monitoring this, is that correct?
Yes, so the truck, the second extension was signed on July 27th, so that would have provided us another 30 days of listening. And then the last phones, George and Jake's phone, were granted extensions on August 16th, 2018. And I believe like the third week of August was generally around the last time that anything was recorded.
Okay.
I'm curious
the
about the
phones,
extensions,
Tell us how they operated differently than the truck devices.
only
So the
because
phones,
I
as
think
stated
it's,
in my prior testimony about the
based on what
2018
they
intercepts, the
had
phones are
already
basically,
obtained,
in the
seems
most
like
simple
that would
terms,
be the
phones
most
have read-route
reasonable
copies
explanation for an
of the
extension
transactions that are
granted.
occurring
So
on that
I'm
phone,
curious about
through your
that. You
network
guys know
to
me. I have
our
all the
computers to
questions.
listen to. That's the most simple way to explain it. And then it comes into our system. It's all maintained. The truck data and the phone data was all kept in the same system. And you could easily, run them together. You could hear or see what other calls were taking place. And that was useful for the monitors that were assigned to the truck, that they could, if they heard conversation, they could know that one person was on the phone, things like that. So those were all kept in the same system. They were visible for all the monitors to see, but not listen to. It was, each person had an assignment when you were monitoring.
Okay. And did you prepare some recordings for us today of what you deem to be pertinent conversations?
Yes.
Okay. And just as a caveat, is this an exhaustive list? Is this all of the pertinent conversations, or did you pick samples?
These are a selection of them. There were many, many more.
Okay. Your Honor, before we play the first one, I don't, if you just want me to hand this and they can pass it around, but this
Transcript
meeting.
off the first one, yeah.
Okay.
Double check those phone numbers just to make sure that's the number.
It's correct. Start some over here for you guys. Wanna approach?
What are we approaching for? They've been talking about this and talking about this and talking about this. I mean, I get it. Like, I'm probably being like I'm overreacting, I'm sure, and I'm being extremely impatient, obviously. But like, I really want to hear these wiretaps. And I'll tell you why I really want to hear these wiretaps, okay? Because as you guys are aware of, and I have explained my feelings about the testimony of Jake and Angela, obviously we didn't hear, right? So I want to know how strong of case the state has without Jake and Angela's testimony. That's all. It's just a curiosity. And the only way I'm going to know that is if we get to these wiretaps. And we're not getting there. And I'm getting annoyed. Like a toddler who needs a nap and a snack. I am a little bit hungry. Maybe that's my problem. Audio, come on, a sound guy. What are we doing here? I can't hear it on my end. I wonder why that is.
Objective what?
Your Honor, we could approach. I mean,
You don't have to. Coolest reviews. I don't know. Look, whenever I saw the guidelines for the channel thing on other people's channel, do you know what I did? I emailed YouTube and I was like, how come I don't have that? And they're like, oh, it's a beta thing. We're rolling it out, blah, 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 blah. Then I got one, right? And I wasn't I have to edit it. I have to fix it. I was just so excited to have it. I felt like, oh, maybe I've made it. So now it says, I thought the prompt was be respectful, questions allowed, something like that, but I don't know. I don't remember now what I clicked. I'll tell you what, let me go out and come back in and then chat and see what happens. All right, hold on. Hold on. Oh, it doesn't do it. Man. All right, hold on. Let me try a different way. First of all, let me close the 87 windows that I have open on my phone. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Okay, let's see here. All right, hold on. Oh, it doesn't give me the prompt anymore. Hold on, let me see if I can see it, like if I look a different way. Hold on. Oh, well, I'll fix it later. Because I just was so excited I had it. Oh, coolest. You're not disruptive. Not at all. Glad to see ya.
This particular thing that you're looking at here on the screen is not evidence either. The evidence is from the
Witness.
and from the audio tape itself. So just so that you're aware of what we're doing. Now, I think this is being presented to try to aid you in understanding, but the court's going to make some rulings on what we show and what we do not show, because you need to focus on the evidence, which is the audio tape itself, all right? And those listening aids that you have are just listening aids, and this that appears up here is not evidence either. All right. So you may proceed to ask your question if you have any more questions of this witness.
I have none. If we could please play, the audio will be 2A.
I can't help it. Mom talks really loud on the phone. I was in the back room doing my cell replications and stuff, and I couldn't help hearing that she was telling you that, ought to respect me again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what did you say? So you couldn't help hearing what? I couldn't help overhearing because I was in the back room and I heard your mom telling you that you should suspect me again.
This sounds like Beth Ann,
Or
Jake's
more,
wife.
more accurately, that you should never have quit suspecting me. And, kind of ruined the day. I can't hear you. What was that? What was that?
She wasn't exactly saying that I should still work at ground.
Yay, Coast Reviews!
It was more along the lines of, are you sure that like, are you just going to
Did you
take
get
what
that?
we said and drop the subject?
Hold on a
Because
sec.
apparently something
Did you get that? M5678. It is Jake Wagner and his wife his then wife, Beth Ann. She's his ex-wife now, but that's who's talking. All right, let me push play.
said something else that wasn't what she said before. Like first it's did, it something like that.
Okay, babe. Good. Just checking.
I didn't hear any of that. You keep freaking out.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
I said that Mom had said that she wanted to know if I could still what she said and just drop it after that. Because apparently Sophie had told her that you did, but you did, but you did. Give me back and forth. Something like that or whatnot. I don't know exactly what she did. She's just extremely worried.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Wow, these are really awkward combos.
Are you okay?
No, she's not okay. Thank you. Does she sound okay to you? Hey, Allie. How you doing, babe?
What?
It's okay.
It's not okay, bruh. Don't be telling her it's okay when it's clearly not
No,
okay.
it's really not.
Tell him. Tell him, Beth Ann. That's right. Sorry, you guys. Let me mute because I'm about to cough.
It's not really sustainable to live with this kind of suspicion.
Sure isn't, ma'am. I don't blame
What
you.
was that?
I said it's not really sustainable to live under this kind of suspicion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Allie.
I think that.
Neither do I.
All I'm saying is she's going to leave it all up to me, and what happens, whether anything happens or not, is all on me. So, I don't know exactly what that is.
What you mean you don't know what that means? These guys are like, can we just take a moment to understand the situation here? These two are newlyweds and they're young. There should not be this amount of awkward silence this early in a relationship. Let me just say that.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
I mean, you would have known if she wasn't there, Jake. Don't you know how a cell phone works? It goes boop.
It's just really, really difficult to live with someone who thinks that I'm worse than a murderer.
What?
And who is so willing to believe it.
Oh, I think I know what these conversations are about, you guys.
Someone who's like jumping to believe that I'm worse than a murderer.
I think these are I think that these conversations are about the accusations that Angela made about Beth Ann and
All
Bovine
relationships are built
and
by trust and destroyed by distrust. And
Sophia.
this kind of distrust is it's eating away on my soul.
See, that's the thing, Coolest Reviews. Good relationships
I'm sorry. I don't know.
have
I
comfortable
know why
silence, not awkward.
she's like that. She was like that before. And it is DTI's fault.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's probably Tabby's fault.
Oh, yeah, actually, but both their fault. I'm sorry.
yeah, Coolest. I can sit in silence with my husband for hours and it's never awkward. It's comfortable silence. That's the difference, babe. What's this
It
clicking?
makes me want to just not exist. So.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay.
Okay, Allie, you can email me if you need to, honey. But also, if you happen to fall asleep, that's okay too. Your body probably is just exhausted.
No matter what my mom thinks I do, no matter what my
apparently what you're in sync is being subject to change at the drop of a hat.
And was that the extent of that conversation that you prepared for us today?
Yes.
States Exhibit quadruple I3.
Terry, could you want bailiff to gather these up?
Coolest.
That's okay.
All the jurors, each juror should give your copy of that transcript to the bailiff.
I just adore your half full approach to life, coolest reviews.
Thank you, sir. Quadruple I3. Oh, that's it.
Speaking of, I actually need to
This is
email
call
you
number
because I have an
471.
audio
This particular
question.
line, the date and time of the call is May 30th, 2018 at 21:50. It is an outgoing call from Jake Wagner to Beth Wagner. The context notes read, Jake and Beth Wagner discuss the dynamic of the Wagner household.
Or, again, I want these provided to defense counsel before they go up there.
Yeah.
They have some opportunity to discuss, or to object if they do, to whatever the comment portion is.
You know, Allie,
This is identical. to
it's a you're under you're
I'll overrule objection.
it's a difficult situation that you're facing right now, but I want you to know that
A copy needs to be
you're
provided. Assume they're-
I think you're handling it well. No, I don't want you to I don't coolest. I just have a question. It's not even about engineering. It's a timing thing I want to ask.
I3A.
That's it. Not even a complicated question. Like you don't have to do any work. I'm not volunteering you to do anything.
Oh,
Promise.
okay. Now, can you play that, please?
Okay, what part did you hear?
I heard that you love me, that it doesn't matter what she thinks about me, it just matters what you think about me.
I know, babe. Listen,
You say
I
that, but
appreciate
I lived with
what you're
her
going through.
5 days
I
out of
know
the
it's
week,
tough.
and You 2 days out of the week.
I didn't hear you speaking out. Said you say that, something.
But I lived with her 5 days out of the week, and with you 2 days out of the week. So it does actually matter.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Stick to your guns, Beth Ann. Mm-hmm. Amen, sister.
Oh.
What do you mean,
Well,
oh?
It's not actually what she thinks. It's just her not letting her guard down, per se, because she doesn't want to take a chance where she could be right, or no, you're right, could be right, or could be wrong. That's the topic, not her. That's the topic.
Hey, Chick Tracy, good to see you, babe. Get your rest. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello.
You do know, right, that I have to pretty much stay away from the kids the whole time you're gone, and if they come anywhere near me, she freaks out. And if, basically, if I have anything to do with them, it freaks her out, and so that freaks me out because, because everything is on the line.
Poor Beth Ann. This is totally something that she probably did not sign up for. Hey, Cement Shoes, welcome back.
Okay, so I've told you Sophie keeps trying to close me in the bedroom in front. If I was to not be paying attention 100% of the time, and if she was to succeed and close and lock the door for more than 1 minute, your mom would see that as a possible time when I could have been abusing Sophie. So I'm literally constantly on edge and constantly watching and constantly having to make sure that I don't touch the kids or that they don't follow me in a room or follow me into the house when your mom's not in there or anything like that. And she's constantly watching the same way, like having to make sure that they're not following me and make sure that we're not alone together. And it is extremely stressful for everybody concerned. And of course, the kids don't understand why they can't play with me, and so they keep being like, "Hey, play like this, and I can't do it because, yeah. So it's just really, 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 really. Because, like I said, if there was ever a time when I wound up being alone in the house and alone in the room with either of them, that would be seen as a potential time when I could have been
Can you all imagine living like this? Bless her little heart.
abusing one of the kids.
I don't know how to fix that. I'll try to figure out a way. At this moment, I don't know.
I got a suggestion. Why don't you tell your mom to butt out and that your wife would never do something like that? And that her fixation is unhealthy for herself and for the grandchildren. And that she's a friggin' maniac. Oh, wait. You guys plotted the unaliving of eight people together, so you can't really put your foot down, huh, Jake? What a conundrum.
Well, there's an easy way to fix it, but it's the way you don't like.
What?
Distance.
Yeah, but I think the oh
Yeah,
yes.
that is true.
Hold
but
on, I'm gonna
again,
pause.
That,
You know what though? What I've noticed about this situation is that I think before the crime, I think that to me, Angela Wagner seems like she has a lot of paranoia. And the thing about paranoia is it's not actually paranoia if it's true, right? But if it's absolutely not true, that's paranoia, right? Um, and I think that the paranoia and the distrust only escalated and obviously got worse after the unaliving, and then after the crimes, I should say. And now she's not only suspicious and has paranoid delusions respective to Sophia being abused, right? But she also has legitimate fear of Beth finding out what they did and telling. So she has like paranoia paranoid delusions, I should say, and then she's got real fear, like she should be afraid of somebody finding out what she did. And it's just I feel awful for this young girl because she had no idea what kind of family she was marrying into at all, which I think she was targeted, to be honest.
I mean, it's like literally putting out a relationship in a mailbox and shipping it around the world till it comes back.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cockamamie solution is that?
That's practically how it is anyway.
What is it?
I said right now that's practically how it is anyway.
How do you figure?
It's pretty much on hold as it is.
How?
Oh my gosh, are you being
Because
purposely obtuse?
how Sophie doesn't like me being here.
Yeah, but after a year, honey, I would say she'll get used to you. But you're still new to it.
You know, she's not going to accept me unless your mom does. You see that, right?
Well,
If your mom's on edge around me, she's going to be on edge around me.
yeah, I mean, I can try talking to mom about things, but honestly, it comes down to it. It really, I don't know. You really need to put your concerns in.
Really what?
So when it comes down, I said I could try talking to mom about how you feel about this and that and whatnot. But when it comes back down to it, it'd be better if you talk to mom about how this is concerning you about doing it and stuff and whatnot.
She wouldn't care. That doesn't matter to her. See, your mom could care less how something affected me. That doesn't matter to her. The only thing that matters to her is the kids and you guys. So she doesn't care goodness what how something affects me. Because, I mean, and think about it. If you had a snake in your house and she sees me as a snake, if you had a snake in your house, you wouldn't care one bit how the machete you're swinging at the snake affects the snake. You don't care. And that's the way it is. So it doesn't matter how something affects me to anyone but you.
I'll talk to her.
I don't know if there's really any way of making anything different. I mean, as long as that suspicion is there, it's going to be like this. And there's pretty much no way of disproving that suspicion either. So it's kind of,
Let me think. Tony, I think 3 or 4 maybe? Or like 3,
I
almost
mean,
4
obviously I could
in
prove
2018?
from this point on that I am not doing that, but there's no way to prove that I did not.
Coolest. Yeah, it's hard to prove a negative, Beth Ann. You're right.
No matter what happens, that suspicion will still be there.
I don't know.
I'm sorry you went through something similar, Allie. That's terrible.
I'll have to talk to her about it. I don't know. I'll figure something out.
Spoiler alert, Jake, there's nothing to figure out because it's not going to ever work. First of all, even if you guys hadn't committed the freaking crime that you committed,
Other than that,
your mom was always going to be an issue.
did you tell my mom that
Oh, here we go.
the whole first week we was together in that house and I tried to have sex with the neighbor associate you?
I didn't say the whole first week. I said in the first week.
Oh, imagine that. Hold on a second. Now you see, hold on. I got to pause for this.
Because she brought it up. She said,
Of course she did. Here's the deal. So listen, you see what Angela has done in this with this situation. First of all, let's take everything else away, right? Let's take away the crime itself, okay? Because she would have been like this whether this crime occurred or not, okay? Whether they had planned this crime or not. What Angela is doing is triangulating. She is repeating parts of what the conversation was that she instigated, because Beth Ann testified about this, to Jake, right? Without mentioning The only reason she gave me the unanswer at all period is because I asked her specifically, right? And not only that, but she's not even telling she's not even telling the truth about the answer that was given. She is messed up. Oh, absolutely, Tony. Absolutely. Angela Wagner, whether they had committed these crimes or not, is the way that she is. She triangulates. She wants to control every situation. The only reason that I think she, and I use the term allowed, and I think and under these circumstances, it's completely appropriate. I think that what she did was gave she wanted to appear as if she's supportive, right? And that's why she allowed and didn't interfere in the beginning of Jake and Beth Ann's relationship, right? In fact, she appeared to both Jake and Beth Ann to be supportive of the relationship, right? And it wasn't until after all of the I's were crossed, I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, and the marriage certificate was signed, right? Because to her, a marriage certificate means something different to Angela Wagner than it means to most of the other people, most other people in the world, right? She sees it as basically ownership papers. I don't know another way to put it. And she started triangulating from the beginning. And I promise you, she encouraged Jake to keep this girl snowed as far as the circumstances under which they would be moving back to Ohio, how they would be living. And this girl tried to get out before they even moved back to Ohio when she met them at the hotel room. Remember that? And she tried to call the family that she had lived with before and her brother and get out, and they came and found her. Yeah. This family is something else. All right, here we go.
But sometimes Sophie is a light sleeper or pretending to sleep, and so you might think she was asleep and she wasn't, and that she might have seen something during that time, like you might have thought she was asleep, and then she was talking about the shirt off comments that Sophie had made in the living room. And so I did tell her that during the first week we were living here, you had sometimes done that sort of thing after Sophie was asleep, like looking down my shirt or wanting to do something more in here. I didn't say that it was all week long. I said that just in the first week that did happen, that you had wanted to do some things in here after she was asleep.
And you know that Angela is somewhere trying very hard to listen in on this
But
conversation too.
Within that first week, and me too, that was not something that should be done. That happened.
Okay.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the big deal?
I was just asking.
You weren't just asking. I heard your tone.
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because,
Why don't you ask your mom what the deal was?
she had said that you said that I wanted to every night the first week. Well, the first week was every night, or whatever, something like that. And she asked me, so was it yes or no? I said, no, it's inaccurate. So she's lying.
No, I said within the first week. I didn't say every single night. Wait,
And your initial reaction was
That's
to
not a big
at
deal.
least
Call-
that was not what I
hold
intended
on.
to communicate at any rate. It was the only thing I intended.
look here. You see how this is going? At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you say, Beth, because if what you missed was the key right in the very beginning of the right that his response was that you were lying. He believed you to be the liar and not his mother. That's the problem. That's the issue. There you go. Bless your little heart.
Intended to communicate was that during the first week, there were some events. Like that.
Events. Bless her little heart. She's not even comfortable talking about it.
No, it's not a big deal, really.
Oh, it is a big deal. You just called your wife a liar. Oh, Coolest Reviews is really cool. Although evidently he's just resigned from being a sound engineer and having any knowledge of sound engineering, because I told him I had to ask him a question. So I'm going to have to deduct 5 points from the swimsuit portion, Coolest Reviews, just so you know.
Where?
Nazi Germany.
No idea where that's at.
You don't know where Nazi Germany is? Sweet Jesus.
Okay, and again, is that the
I mean,
entirety of?
it's not
the
an
portion of
actual
that
location.
call that you prepared for us today?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to show you what's been marked as quadruple I-4.
This is call number 621 from May 31st, 2018.
Hey guys, don't be mad, but it's like 11 o'clock here and I have stuff I have to get done. I know, Coolest, but listen, you don't want to answer my question, so I got to deduct points from the swimsuit competition. It's just how it goes. It's just how it is. It's how it bees. Don't be mad, but you guys, it's 11, and this is why I'm annoyed, because they keep starting late, and usually by 11 o'clock we've had a good amount of testimony, and here we haven't, and they've just been monkeying around and arguing back and forth. I mean, obviously that's part of the trial, but whatever. Anyway, so, but I have to get off of here because I got stuff I got to do before I can, for the live tonight. And plus also like in my real life too. So I'm going to have to end this, but I'll see you guys back here tonight for the West Memphis 3. Amber's Alerts is going to be, a guest. I'm super excited, and that'll be at 9 Eastern. And yeah. So I'll see you guys back here tonight, okay? You guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Mike. Guess what day it is? Hump day. All right. And I will see y'all tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. All right. Bye.